What's a nice guy like you doing in a place like this? How did you happen to become, and why did you decide to become Secretary of Homeland Security?
Well, Pete, and again, a real privilege to be here, and thanks for the invitation, you and others that had influence on my appearance tonight. I don't know why I'm sitting here. I don't know how I got here. I literally...
That's reassuring.
Yeah. I literally did not know Mr. Trump at all, and I didn't know anyone that knew Mr. Trump. I was about 10 days after the election. I was watching college football with my wife on a Saturday afternoon. I got a cold call, Reince Priebus, and I barely remembered that name. And once he convinced me it really was Reince Priebus and not one of my retired friends who does this kind of thing. You know, said Mr. Trump would like to have an opportunity to talk to you maybe about going into the administration. Hung up. My wife said, what was that all about? And I was retired almost exactly 8 months from 45 and a half years in the Marine Corps, and 29 moves, and I could go in and out. John, how you doing? Now I have to tell the truth. I see John's here. But anyways, I said, well, it's Reince Priebus, and they may offer me a job. What do you think? And she said, well, you know, if we're nothing, the Kelly family is a family of service to the nation. Two sons who are Marines, a daughter in the FBI. So she said, if they think they need you, you can't get out of it. And she said, besides, I'm really, really tired of these this quality retired time we're spending together. So then I went up for a second interview about 10 days later, and Mr. Trump walked in. It wasn't really an interview, and said, I'd like you to take the hardest and what I consider to be the toughest job in the federal government. I panicked for a bit. I thought he was going to offer me the State Department. All I could think about is, how do I get out of this? And he said Homeland Security, and I'd worked so closely with Jay Johnson, who was a good friend, in my time in Southcom. I knew what Homeland Security was about. I looked at our southwest border, at our country from the south looking north, which is a very, very different view of the border if you were standing in America looking south. And I brought that perspective to the job, and I think that's worked well for me. But that's how I ended up here.